we always got to turn back to the scriptures, because your mind is desperately wicked. Who shall know it, right? Don't lean upon your own understanding. Go back, wait upon the Lord, right? Go back to the Lord and teach. And teach her not an evil lesson against thyself, right? So you don't want to give up your weakness, and oh, you should have done this, and just hold your tongue. A lot of times you hold your tongue, and you don't give all your mind out. It says tell her not everything, the one you lay with, right? So verse 2 says, give not thy soul unto a woman, right? You can't give your soul unto a woman, right? You give your soul to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You do everything he wants you to do, and then he puts things in order. If she don't want to follow, then she's not meant to be, because if not, you're gonna just double the cup of wickedness. And frankly, I'm tired. I don't like dealing with wickedness. We commanded to eschew it. We commanded to love the good, hate the evil. And Salaki, give not thy soul unto a woman, to set her foot upon thy substance, right? And there you go. So if you're gonna give your everything, and she's controlling everything, then you're the head of the household. How you gonna be the head of the household, right? You can give her responsibility and stuff, but ultimately, you got to call the shots. Verse 3 says, meet not with the harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. So you don't even want to meet up with harlot, right? You don't want to, your bodies are members of Hamashiach. You don't want to share your body, or even meet up and take that spirit on of a harlot. Right? It also says something about your substance. You'll become, broke. You'll become poor and stuff, because if you're a man that indulges in harlotry, you'll become poor. And that's also something to be ashamed of. There's I believe it says 3 yet 4 things to be ashamed of, right? Use not much the company of a woman that is a singer, lest thou be taken with her attempts, right? Because she's smooth, right? She's smooth. She's gonna attempt. She's gonna have many attempts, right? And it says, gaze not on a maid, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her, right? Because the woman, she goes for the man, right? And the man goes for Yahushua, and Yahushua goes for the Lord, right? So we ultimately going for the Lord. And if she's gonna follow you, and you're going for the Lord, then she's gonna go for the Lord. But if you follow her, then you're gonna fall for the things that are precious to her: money, clothes, food, cars, houses, material. It could just be, what they call a simp, right? You're gonna end up every wind of doctrine. You think what she says is right, and then it's wrong, and there's many downfalls when you put the woman first, right? You have to put the Lord first. Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance. And that's the precept we said earlier, right? You're going to lose your inheritance. Look not round about thee in the streets of the city, neither wander in the solitary of the place thereof. And that's the point, right? And you can go into that. Don't be wandering and keep your foot at home. Do your studies. There's much to be done. There is much to be done. You should be planting, growing, reading, resting, exercising, eating healthy. You should be constantly occupied in the work of the Lord, but living, right? Not into this wickedness, wandering, and what should I do next, and who should I be, and who should I follow, and what's the latest fad, and who's hot, and who's saying what. Your mind should be, who cares? Your mind should be in the Lord, in living, right? Living righteously, living healthy. Getting back to this, it says, do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread. Give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby, right? So, talking about the wicked, and again, you love your household, and you not supply, but you gather, and you work for your household, right? Unless you be an infidel, and you deny the faith. But again, it's a balance where you're setting things in order. Ba'ashem Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, right? Ba'ashem Raka Kadash. That's why it's so important to pray. These high holy days are so important to stay in the spirit. It's very important. Continuing on, it says, for else thou shalt receive, and again it says, Salaki, lest he overmaster thee thereby, meaning the wicked will overmaster you, because you're giving your substance. You being what's it called? It says, be not like timid, right? When your soul is depends on it, is in jeopardy, right? When your soul matters, that your soul is on the line, don't be timid, right? You need to stand for the Lord, and in doing that, you're gonna stand for yourself. And then you're gonna stand for those who are like-minded brothers, right? You're gonna stand up for the righteous, right? You're gonna shoot wickedness, chop it down. Salaki, it says, for else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him. For the Most High hated sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. Give unto the good, and help not the sinner. Right? So that's the point. That's the point on that. And that's, you can't say that enough, because we're nice people, right? We like to think so, and we want to be godly and stuff. But here it is, you helping the sinner, and you gotta hold back that bread, Now, even with your righteous brethren and sistren, right? You're gonna congregate and come together, kind of like potluck, and maybe now and then, you got extra, you're gonna hook a brother, sister up. You may receive something, but if you get, you get. If not, whatever, right? The Lord loves a cheerful giver. And you got your, like, what's it called? The day of Purim, when you do give to the poor, right? The needy of our people. But again, the Lord loves a cheerful giver, so you're not going to be reluctant to help or give, the extra to the righteous, right? If you got, you give. If not, you shall receive. The Lord gonna give you a reward. He said, if not from those that you help, then from the Lord, right? However he's gonna plan it out. Salaki. So it says, here's what I wanted to get. For brethren have been called unto liberty. Let's see. Use not the liberty for occasion for the flesh, but by love serve one another, right? And love is keeping of the commandments. 14. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, right? So if you're loving yourself, right, you know what you would do, or what you expect unto yourself, then that's what you do, and what your neighbor should expect. Maybe you love yourself so much that you expect love, and you give it that in that type of way, right? And this is the blueprint on character and protection from overdoing or underdoing, or where to have boundaries and whatnot, according to the scriptures, right? So 15 says, but if ye bite and devour one another, take heed ye be not consumed by one another, right? So again, you're gonna, they say the golden rule: do unto others what you want done to yourself. So if you doing something wicked to someone, then you may get wickedness back in return, right? 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, right? So we got to stay in the spirit, talk in the spirit. Our conversation should be holy. Our thoughts, we need to rebuke our own thoughts, right? A lot of times I pray for the thoughts and the words to speak and the actions to do, right? For the flesh lusted against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, right? These are contrary the one to the other, right? Your flesh is contrary to the spirit wanting the Lord. Your flesh, the Lord says fast, be happy, and you're gonna get what you need, and your body's like, nah, I want to go, I want to drink, I want to have another drink, I want to eat, I want to have I want to have more food, I want to have gold, I want to have all these wine and flagons of wine and these comforts of life. And the Lord said, be not want, right? He put you in green pastures when you worship Him, right? So that you cannot do the things that you would. 18. But if you be led by of the Spirit, you are not under the law, right? Because the Spirit worships the Lord and wants nothing but good, right? Now, and of course, we're gonna know better. We're gonna know, oh no, I don't eat pig. No, I don't want that. I'm gonna look, oh, no gelatin. All right. No, I don't eat that stuff. No, I watch my eyes, because then I'm gonna end up wanting to lust, and my mind's gonna go down this slippery slope of lust. So I'm gonna watch my eyes. Adultery and fornications. I'm stay meditating on the Lord, keeping the Sabbath day. I'm gonna be respectful to my parents, honor my parents. I'm not gonna lie to my neighbor, my fellow Israelite brother and sister. I'm gonna let them know the truth, right? These things are all important. And that's just happens in the spirit. It's just gonna come automatic, right? Verse 19 says, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery and fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, right? You got hatred and variance, immolations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies. I just seen this wicked movie called Weapons, and All Rights Reserved, right? And it's just like witchcraft, and people might try to think of power and stuff like that in this world. So that's just fleshly desires, right? Envies, murders, drunkenness, reveling, and such like of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in the past, they which do these things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Right, verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit, and it's good to know these wickedness things and be aware, right? Because it's good to be cautious of what's going on and rebuke evil and be instant in season, out of season, but also meditate on goodly things, right? The book says. So I like to be cautious and conscious of this wickedness. And also the book says that the knowledge of wickedness is in wisdom, right? So you want the wisdom, the fear of the Most High, and you want to walk fearfully according to the Lord, right? In fear of the Lord. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, right? Joy. This is the stuff we want. Peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. Right? So you can be all the meek you want. You can have all the self-control you want. There's no law against that. And they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the afflictions and lust. Right? So if you belong to the Lord, He said, I have you in my hand. The Lord is giving us to Him. Right? Then then we crucify the flesh with the affections and lusts, right? So we're gonna fast. We're gonna fast these fleshly things away. Our spirit's gonna be made stronger than the flesh. Our mind's gonna be made stronger, right? So, and everything, our body becomes stronger. We no longer need these things. We can walk uprightly. We can say yea or nay to things, and Lord's will, we do what makes us stronger, right? If you live in the Spirit, let us all walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another, right? And that's important. We're supposed to love one another. So the Lord is a spirit, and we must worship Him in the Spirit, right? The book says. Let's close with that. The Lord is a spirit. Second Corinthians chapter 3 verse 17. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And that's not it. It's lucky. It's John 4 verse 24. God is a spirit, and they that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and truth, right? And truth is the laws, right? And that's why that's the love of God, right? And with that, I'm gonna close out. I wanted to go a little bit into Ephesians and putting on the whole armor of God, but we're gonna close out right now. Bad is about to die. In the Spirit, we're giving all praises, honor, glory to the mighty Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem Raka Kadash. Stay up, stay reading, fasting, praying, and put on the spirits, right? The Spirit of the Lord. Right, with that, I say Shalom.